She spent a month publicly rating me March 10th in her group chat. But the moment I posted our breakup, her entire friend circle turned on her faster than I ever could have imagined. That I'll be honest, I didn't see it coming. Not like this. Not in the middle of a stupid Tuesday night argument about where to order takeout. We were sitting on opposite ends of my couch, half watching some cooking show neither of us cared about. She was scrolling her phone, as usual, smiling at something, typing fast, thumbs flying like she was defusing a bomb. I didn't think much of it. She always texted her friends. They lived in their group chat more than real life. But then she laughed. Not a regular laugh, a mean one. Sharp. And she said, almost offhand, "God, my girls are gonna die. I've been rating you like a 3 out of 10 in the group chat for a month now." I didn't react immediately. I didn't even understand at first. "Rating me?" I asked. She grinned, rolled her eyes like I was being dense. "Yeah, like how you look, how you talk, how you dress. Relationship score. You know, don't be so sensitive, it's a joke." A joke. Right. She shoved another fry in her mouth and went back to typing. The glow of her screen flashed across her face as she smirked at whatever she was sending them about me right then. My stomach didn't drop. My heart didn't shatter. It was more like something inside me quietly clicked. A door closing. A light switching off. Something small and important snapping cleanly in half. I'd been feeling it for weeks. The distance, the coldness, the sarcasm that had started slipping into everything she said. I hadn't wanted to name it. But now she named it for me. I just stared at her for a moment. The girl I'd been with for almost a year. The girl I'd comforted through panic attacks, bought groceries for when she was broke, helped with job applications, driven across town for at 2 a.m., held when she cried, hyped up when she felt insecure. And here she was, laughing about ranking me like a Yelp review. She looked over, finally noticing I wasn't laughing. "Oh my God," she groaned. "Don't make this a big deal. It's just girl talk. They all do it about their boyfriends. You're taking it personally, and it's literally not even that deep." I nodded slowly. Not angry, not emotional, just done. "Thanks for telling me," I said. She blinked, confused. Okay." I stood up, walked to my bedroom, shut the door, and drafted a text. "This isn't working anymore. I'm done. Good luck with everything. Sent." I put my phone down, packed a small bag, put it by the door. When she realized what I'd done, maybe minutes, maybe an hour later, I didn't know yet. What I did know was that something huge had shifted inside me. Not rage, not revenge, just clarity. The understanding that I had allowed myself to stay where I wasn't valued, and the door out was open now, and I wasn't going to close it again. Update: I thought leaving would be the end of it. Clean break. Quiet distance. Two people going their separate ways after one finally grew a spine and said no more. But of course, that's not how anything with her ever worked. I stayed at my friend Marcus's place for a few days. He tossed me a spare key, cleared a patch of the couch, handed me a beer, and said, "Take your time." No interrogation. No prying. Just space. Something my relationship had stopped giving me months ago. The first night, my phone blew up. Missed calls. Long paragraphs. Voice messages of her crying, yelling, demanding explanations she'd already been given. I didn't respond. The second day, she switched tactics. Guilt. "I can't believe you're doing this to me. I told you it was a joke. Are you seriously throwing away a whole year over something so small?" Then more crying audios. Then silence. I was expecting anger next. Or maybe the classic, "I'm blocking you," followed by her checking my social media every hour. But instead, nothing. Just quiet. Until the group chat incident. That was the part one didn't anticipate. I was out grabbing coffee with Marcus when he suddenly asked, "Dude, what did you post?" "Nothing," I said. He turned his phone toward me. And there it was, my breakup text in screenshot form, sitting in a mutual friends group chat. Someone had uploaded it after she sent her version of events. Apparently, she'd told them I'd snapped, that I was emotionally unstable, that I'd overreacted to playful teasing. But my simple, neutral breakup text, "This isn't working anymore. I'm done. Good luck with everything," told a different story. Within minutes, messages started pouring into my phone from numbers I barely knew. "Hey, I'm so sorry. We didn't know she was doing that. I'm embarrassed I laughed at some of the things she sent. You deserve better. Seriously. She told us it was harmless, but it really wasn't. I'm sorry she treated you like that." And the one that made me stop mid-sip. "She's been nasty about you for longer than a month. We thought you knew." We thought this was like mutual teasing. We had no idea she was the only one doing it. That one hit me hard. I'd assumed she was just trash-talking me privately. It hadn't even occurred to me that she might have been the only one participating, that her friends weren't mocking me, just reacting to her instigations. Marcus glanced at my screen and let out a low whistle. "She did you dirty," he said. But the real surprise came a few hours later. One of her closest friends, someone who'd barely spoken 2 words to me during the entire relationship, called me. Actually called. I let it go to voicemail, thinking it was an accidental tap. Then the message came through. "Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I wanted you to know she wasn't joking. She meant it. She was cruel about you. You didn't deserve it. And I'm sorry we didn't shut it down earlier." I sat there in my borrowed living room, holding the phone in both hands, feeling a weird combination of validation and sadness. Not heartbreak, not regret, just that heavy confirmation that I had made the right choice. She didn't value me. She didn't even like me, not really. I was someone she could mock for entertainment. Leaving wasn't impulsive. It wasn't dramatic. It was overdue. But the update doesn't end there, because later that night, she texted me again, not to apologize, but to accuse. "Did you seriously tell my friends we broke up? Why would you do that? Why are they all turning on me? What did you say?" I stared at the message. I hadn't said a single word to her friends. They'd figured everything out themselves. And the truth, the actual truth, was doing more damage than anything I could have said. She wasn't mad about losing me. She was mad about losing the audience. And that was the moment I realized. This wasn't just about the 3 out of 10 joke. This was about who she was, and who I had been shrinking myself into to keep things peaceful. I didn't reply to her message. I didn't know her clarification. I didn't know her comfort. For the first time in a long time, I felt something close to real peace. But the final part of this story, the one I'm still trying to process, came a few days later when she unexpectedly showed up in person. Final update: that I thought the worst was behind me. That the texts, the group chat fallout, the sudden wave of apologies from her friends, that was the peak of the mess. But no, the real ending came 3 days later. It was a Saturday morning. Quiet. I was sitting on the balcony at Marcus's place, coffee in hand, thinking about maybe going for a run. The kind of normal, peaceful morning I hadn't had in months. Then I heard the knock on the apartment door. Not a gentle knock. More like someone pounding with urgency. Marcus glanced over. "You expecting anyone?" "No," I said. He went to open the door while I stayed seated, already knowing, somehow, who it would be. I heard her voice immediately. "Is he here? Please. I just need to talk to him." Marcus didn't move aside. "Probably not a good time," he said. She pushed past him anyway. And there she was, standing in the living room, clutching her phone, mascara smudged, breathing like she'd run up the stairs. She looked unhinged. Not crying exactly, but right on the edge. Her eyes locked on me. "You need to fix this," she said. I took a slow sip of coffee. "Fix what?" She held up her phone like it was Exhibit A. "Everything. My friends are pissed at me. They're calling me toxic. They said they didn't know how bad I was being until you showed them that breakup text." I raised an eyebrow. "I didn't show them anything." "You did." She shook her head violently. "No, no. They wouldn't have turned on me like this unless you said something. They think I'm the villain now. Do you know how humiliating that is?" Oh, there it was. Not regret. Not remorse. Humiliation. She wasn't upset about hurting me. She was upset that people knew she hurt me and weren't on her side. I stood, leaning against the railing. "You told them I was unstable. You told them I overreacted. You tried to spin the whole thing. So what?" She snapped, voice cracking. "That's what people do after breakups." "No," I said calmly. "It's what you do." She froze. For a moment, she looked very small. "I didn't think you'd actually leave," she whispered. "You always let things go. You never fought back." There it was, the truth buried under everything. She had mistaken quiet for weak, forgiveness for blindness, patience for permission. "I left," I said, "because you stopped seeing me as a partner and started seeing me as a punching bag." "I didn't." "Yes, you did." She closed her mouth. Silence stretched long between us. Marcus quietly stepped outside onto the balcony to give us space. When she finally spoke again, her voice was low. "I don't want to be the bad guy." "You don't have to be," I said softly. "But you have to accept what you did." Tears pooled in her eyes, but didn't fall. She wasn't crying. She was frustrated. Angry. Cornered by consequences she didn't expect. You used to love me, she said. I did, I replied. But I also needed to love myself. And what? You're just done? Yes. There was no drama in my voice. No bitterness. Just a finality she couldn't manipulate. She took a shaky breath, grabbed her purse, and headed for the door. You're making a mistake, she said, not looking back. I didn't respond. The door closed softly behind her. And that was it. No shouting. No begging. No second chance. Just the end. The aftermath was strangely calm. Her friends continued reaching out, some apologizing again, some venting about how she'd treated them, too. Apparently, I wasn't the only one she mocked behind people's backs. She'd been burning a lot of bridges without realizing it. She unfollowed me on everything a week later, then refollowed, then unfollowed again. Classic. Not my problem anymore. I focused on work, on rebuilding routines, on being a person outside of a relationship that had slowly eroded my confidence without me even noticing. There were nights I felt weirdly empty, not because I wanted her back, but because I had gotten so used to chaos that the absence of it felt foreign. Quiet. Too quiet sometimes. But peace has a way of teaching you things chaos never will. I learned what it feels like to not be belittled, to not be mocked privately, to not be someone's punchline. And I learned that leaving wasn't an overreaction. It was the first healthy decision I'd made in that relationship. Months have passed now. I'm dating again, slowly, carefully, with someone who actually listens, actually smiles at my jokes, actually treats me like a person instead of a scoreboard. And every once in a while, I still look at that breakup text, not out of regret, but gratitude. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't witty. It wasn't savage. It was simply clear. This isn't working anymore. I'm done. Good luck with everything. Those words became the first step toward rebuilding myself. Sometimes the quietest exits are the strongest ones.